1-1. The game ended.
Cool. Hello, welcome to another Touchy Gooners podcast. My name's Lewis. I'm joined by some of the usual cast. We got Dan Cougs sporting that lovely, what's that, 98, 99? 98, 99 jersey, or is it 2000?
I couldn't tell you, man. It was a gift.
Yeah, it's. I think it's 99, 2000, 99. Because I remember
2000 maybe. All I could see, I could just envisage Carnu wearing that.
No, I was thinking petite, bro.
Petite, yeah. This shirt reminds me of petite. Yeah, I agree with that.
90, I think that's 98, 99. That's the season before he cried and left to go Barcelona. Yeah, him and Mark Overmars. We fleeced him. Not for the first time we fleeced Barcelona, I might add, for some good money. But Dan Cougs, how you doing, man?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Can't complain.
And we got Sean as well.
Yeah,
a bit more simple attire, but you know, Adidas.
Yeah, keep it simple, the Adidas, man.
Yeah. And then we got German Dan straight from the boardroom of Formula E.
I don't even work there anymore, you know.
I know, but I can't remember the name of your new company, so we're running with the Formula E stuff.
That's fair, man. You know, I told Lil Sugar to get the fuck out of here, man. That's what I'm
moving like Logan Roy, yeah.
I'm on to season 2 of that. This show is incredible, bro.
Amazing.
No spoilers, yeah.
Yeah.
Goes in.
No spoilers.
This Logan Roy guy is like Alex Ferguson, bro. He's Alex Ferguson. He literally is.
Literally, I think Sir Alex may have just written that whole thing. Actually, it's a lot like his autobiography. Before we get into things, it's been a bit of a quiet week. More like off the field stuff, and you know, not non-Arsenal related things, but non-pitch related things. So before we start, hey, Touchy Gooners, we got our first game on Sunday. Actually, in our Touchline Vibes tournament, we're playing Spurs. North London derby Sunday. Listen, I think the team is pretty much full for this week, but if we do, you know, we might have a few spare spaces. So if you are interested in playing for Touchy Gooners, 5-a-side team, give me a shout. Give the Twitter account a tweet, or one of us a tweet, and we can get you involved. It's going to be every Sunday in Shoreditch at 3 p.m. Just a little kick around 5-a-side. But hey, listen, this North London derby, we need to win. You know, it's all up for grabs. It's our first game. We need to get some points on the board. So if you are interested, come play football with us. Give us a shout. It's going to be an ongoing thing every Sunday. And you'll get to play, you know, Moga, Cop End, Chesiawa, and obviously the Spurs lot from down the road. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, give us a shout. And anyway, guys, let's talk all things Arsenal. It's been the last week or so has been a very good week for us, and we haven't actually had to do much. You know, results have practically gone. I don't think we could have wished for a better set of results, really. I mean, yeah, Man United beat Brighton yesterday, but I mean, they had to win eventually, didn't they? They had to win eventually. So, yeah, man, how it just still feels weird that our chances of qualifying for the Champions League and finishing top 4 have improved by us not even playing a game. It's really strange times that we're living in at the moment, Dan Cougs.
Yeah, man. I think at the moment, you know, I'm eating good. You know, when I see Toby come back from games, despondent, recording the Big Six show, all this, I'm there playing the PlayStation, watching him shouting to his laptop, and I'm eating good and I'm rejoicing and I'm feasting on his tears. You get what I mean? So, you know, this is nice. I don't want to, you know, count my chickens, this, that, and the other, but you know, when I see Conte throwing his toys at the pram, so to speak, saying, you know, the level of Tottenham is not that good. When I see, you know, these games in hand FC, they're losing all their games, this, that, and the other. You can't really complain, and I feel like right now I'm content. You know, I'm very content. I think United, they're moving a bit funky themselves, but I'm content with where we are. I feel like if we focus on ourselves this season, get points on the board, we'll be okay, man. I said it in the group. I'm feeling quietly confident. You know, but you know, we'll see what we do against Brentford this Saturday.
Yeah, man, I've got to admire Tobe's enthusiasm. Like, literally, it was like, they just got pammed against Wolves on the weekend. Like 5 minutes later, obviously he's done his post-match reaction, which is quality, guys. You should go and watch it on Tapping Toves' YouTube channel. Brilliant. But like 10 minutes after he's done his reaction video, he's put out tweets. Oh, who's got tickets for Anfield or whatever their next game is? It's like, right, like this guy is dedicated, you know. But I was like, geez, the enthusiasm is too much. I can't knock it. You know, listen. He wears his heart on his sleeve. The Antonio Conte appointment isn't quite going to plan, I guess. It has been. I know there were some comments that came out this evening, really, about how Conte is upset that Spurs weakened the team. Despite bringing in Bentancur and Kulusevski, the latter we were linked to. Apparently the squad is weakened. So I don't know if that's a bit of mind games there from Conte, but Sean, where are you seeing Arsenal and in regards to their rivals? Like we're hearing like these complaints from Conte. We're looking at Man United; they're looking a bit shaky. West Ham. Do you consider them a rival? Where do you see us? Like, are we in good footing right now?
Yeah, I think when you look at it, Arsenal look the most stable and secure team at the moment. It's funny you mentioned games in hand, FC. That's what we turned into now. So we're getting excited, but those games need to be played. I think we thought Spurs were going to be the biggest threat, and obviously their drop points. Back-to-back losses at home, no doubt, to Southampton and Wolves, I think is a big blow. They've got City next to as well away, so we're hoping that could be 3 L's on the row.
Haven't they already lost 3 games in a row?
Was it? Mate, yeah. But that Dan's nodding to they've lost 3, so maybe 4.
Yeah, because they lost against Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah. He said yeah. So hopefully 4 L's in a row. So we'll see how that pans out. United, we've all said they have the strongest squad, but it looks like a bit of a mismatch. There's in-house problems. Harry Maguire can't defend his block. Were to Tion Wayne. So there's loads of struggles there. So we're gonna see how that pans out. So we look stable, and our job is it's in our hands now. If we win all our games, well, like I said, it's in our hands. And we've got probably the most favourable schedule as well. So if we win our games, it's in our hands. There was a tweet on the account the other day. How many points do you think it will take to get top 4? I know you said you think it might be around 66, 67. I think obviously to be on the safe side, people were hoping that if we can replicate the first half of the season where we got 35 points, 70 will definitely get it. So I don't know, man. But yeah, I just think I'm still nervous myself personally, just because even though the other teams around us aren't great, we still aren't looking potent offensively for me. And, I would have liked the striker on loan in Jan, even if we couldn't get whoever the main target was. So we're relying on Lacazette, who just doesn't look a big threat going forward. And, Eddie, who is, out of contract at the end of the season as well. So we're basically still where we were at the start, relying on our young Gs to carry us through. They've done well so far. So we can only hope they can continue for the second half of the season. So we'll see. Generally, I just want to take it game by game. Brentford at the weekend, and hopefully we can get 3 points there. And then we've got Wolves again after that. So back-to-back home games now. I think we need to be looking to try and take 6 points. I know both Brentford and Wolves play with a back 5, so it's going to be tough to break them down. But let's see what we can do, man. I think if we win both of the next 2 home games, we put ourselves really in pole position for top 4. So like I think others have said, I think from here, we didn't expect it at the start of the season, but where we are now, it would be disappointing if we couldn't get it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously been like these tweets going around about that what's the stats website called? 538 soccer or whatever it's called. They've done their projections, and I've just had a little look at like the odds for like finishing in the top 4, and German Dan, Arsenal are favourites. They're favourites to make the top 4. Like, I don't think at the start of this season we would have ever envisaged being in this position. I don't think, like at the end of the transfer window, when we had our squad put together, we were looking at it a bit. We'd lost obviously our first 3 games of the season, so now be favourites for the top 4. I don't know if you agree with this, by the way. I mean, this is just where money is going and computer algorithms, and football is played on a pitch, not on a on a PC. So how are you feeling about Arsenal being in pole position in the eyes of the public? And does that what am I trying to say? Is does that fit right with how you feel as well?
I think so. If I look at the season, of course, I agree. At the start of the season, I didn't think we would be in for a top 4 race. I just didn't think we had enough quality. But I always said that it is a possibility because I don't rate the teams around us. I said from the very beginning, Spurs, I don't rate them. United is a mixed bag for me. Let's see what they do. So I said there's an opening, and it really just depends if we can stay consistent. So whilst I didn't think we would be able to, we managed to be able to be consistent enough in the first half of the season to give us a good chance. And it's not just a good chance now. It's in our hands. I think mathematically it's in our hands, which is why the algorithms are saying we're favourites. And if you're looking at the run that we have now, the run of fixtures, you'd say there's a lot of fixtures that we should be winning and picking up points in. I don't think every game is going to be a win. I'm not going to look at Brentford and say 3 points in the bag, because those are the mistakes that my enemies have made, and I will not make the same mistakes. They're after us, but we're not making the same mistakes. We take one game at a time. Wolves game was, for example, that was a game away from home. That was a real test, I think, and I think we showed resilience in that game, which made me think, yes, we're here and we want to get top 4 and we are ready to compete for it. I think United have got a good performance against Brighton a couple of days ago, but I've seen them and Spurs on numerous occasions be very fragile. Go 1 up, then concede a goal, 1-1, and then end up losing it. So I think we have better defensive resilience than both of those teams. And whilst I agree with what Sean is saying that offensively it doesn't look great at the moment, it really doesn't. I hope that with ESR coming back into the team now, with Martinelli definitely suspended, that he might give us something, some added dynamism, some added creativity. I feel like maybe the way ESR plays will help Lacazette a little bit as well. We will see, but I think that our defensive resilience will give us a good chance regardless. And it really is just about being consistent. Don't lose games. If you can't win it, then draw it. You need to pick up points in any fixture essentially. So we have to leave with something every game week, and I think we have a good chance. More than a good chance. We're favourites realistically. And I saw a lot of comments about obviously Henry is a bit harsh, you could say, being in this position now and saying that it would be failure if we don't get it. But realistically, it probably would be. The squad and the Tata have done really well to be in this position right now, and to now not go and get it would 100% be a disappointment and also a failure. And failure is not necessarily a word I think people want to use because it's a young squad and etc. But those guys, you don't have to baby them, man. Those guys came through at Arsenal. That's not an easy feat in the first place. And if you're playing for Arsenal, you most likely are an elite footballer anyway. You're in the higher percentile of players in Europe that can be good enough to be playing for Arsenal and be purchased by Arsenal. So the expectations of the club are clear. We shouldn't be mincing our words and saying, "Oh, don't use the word failure." No, it would be a failure now given where we are at the start of the season. Of course, we looked at it very differently, but we always want to apply context and we always want to be making points that are relevant to what's happening right now. And I feel like it would be a failure if we don't get it now, and it would be a disappointment. But a lot of credit to the team and also Tata for getting there to this point. Mid February, not even Jan, and we are basically, it's in our hands, and that's a big positive.
Yeah, I mean, we speak a lot about consistency, and I think we've probably been since people will moan at me saying this, right? And I don't take any joy from saying it, but it's like when the window closed, which is when we signed. Obviously, we got Tomiyasu over the line. We got Odegaard over the line. Who else did we sign towards the end of the window? We got Ramsdale in. Sorry.
Ramsdale was a bit late, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, he got his signings towards the end of the window, and since then we've probably been comfortably the fourth best team in the league, especially in terms of consistency of results. I've got some stats here. 19 games since the end of the transfer window. We've won 12. You know, we've taken 39 points from 19 games. Just a comparison, Chelsea in the same period, 40 points from 21 games, so 2 extra games. Liverpool, 47 points from 21 games. Wolves, 37 points from 20 games. Manchester United, 36 points from 22 games. Spurs, 27 points from 19 games. You know, the level of consistency we have shown since September is, you know, I see some people brushing it off as, oh yeah, a little burst of form before Christmas. Or I don't think that's the right way to look at it, man. I do feel like this team has steadily been putting results together. I mean, since, you know, we've won 12 of 19 games. That's not fluke, you know, and it's not like we deserve to be losing those games and stuff like that. We barely concede goals. We don't really concede chances like that. Issue with goal scoring, definitely. But in that period, we've scored the 4th most goals in the league. So I mean, it's, you know, it's not a disaster. You know, we're not completely out of touch from our rivals in terms of the goal scoring ability.
You know, and you know what? With that, I think a lot of people are over-indexing our bad periods, right? So, like, obviously, I think January was a tough month, but I think a lot of people are sort of saying that is more representative of Arsenal this season versus, you know, what has come before that. And I think we sort of have done the same last season, where that 10-game run. Because obviously it was so costly to our season, a lot of people have said, well, that's the real Arsenal, and everything that came after is, you know, everyone likes to sort of play that down. And I think, you know, if you listen to the main pod and what the general consensus is about this top 4 race is that, oh, it's a bum fight, you know, and it's about who's going to be the least shit. Whereas I think if you're actually looking at it and looking at, you know, the performances and the performance level of all the teams fighting for top 4, we are actually the only team that has been very consistent. So, you know, we only played 2 league matches in January. One was a very good performance against Man City that we lost. Everyone was, you know, oh, look at them, they're celebrating a loss, this, that, and the other. And the other one was a frustrating game against Burnley, 0-0. But those are the only 2 games that we've dropped points in our last 7. You know, we've won 5 of our last 7 games, conceded 1 goal in open play in all of those games, and that was in the last minute against Man City when we're down to 10 men. You know, so if you're looking at it, right, and saying, right, how have this team been performing over the course of this season? Yes, we had that, you know, disastrous start, but, you know, we saw Liverpool last year when they didn't have their, you know, first choice centre backs available. They lost 6 in a row at home, and people were able to provide that context and say, you know, that wasn't their first team, that's not representative of them. And then look at what they're doing this season. Now they have their players back. So, you know, I do think it's right to look at the team since the transfer window closed, since we've had most of our players available, and say, right, how have we been performing? And we have been in the top 4, if not the top 3 performing teams for the majority of that season. I think, Lewis, just to add on your point, since the transfer window opened, I think we're 3rd in the league for points per game. Since Conte came in, I think we're 4th in the league, just slightly behind Spurs for points per game. But that was before the Wolves game, so I think we might have overtaken them, got into 3rd now, that they lost, sorry. And since Rangnick's come in, we're the 3rd game as 3rd team as well. So, you know, if you look at that, if we're able to maintain this form with basically the same team, because Lacazette, Aubameyang, before he went, he wasn't even in the squad for the 10 games in all competitions before he was sold. So, you know, people are talking about, yeah, we're weak, this, that, and the other, we're weak in the squad, but these players are basically the same players who have been playing all season, you know. So really and truly, unless there's a drastic fall off in form, we should be there. Simple, and we should be there, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
And another thing that I wanted to say, just on just on the expectations at the start of the season as well. Yeah, so sorry, this is like a monologue, but on the expectation at the start of the season, I think everyone places too much emphasis on what their own evaluation of the squad was, right? So like, or what the general consensus of the squad was, right? But really and truly, if we had more faith in the manager, right? So say Conte was in charge, we gave him that exact same squad, and he went and spent 160 million pound on X amount of players. The expectations would be right. They're going to go compete for top four. It's only because of what our opinion of Arteta is and what our opinion of the players are that they brought in that we sort of reduce those expectations. So it's like if you're actually thinking, if you're Arsenal and you're saying this guy is the guy who's going to take us forward, which they are, probably going to give him a new contract. And Arteta is looking at these guys and saying, right, I have 160 million pounds to spend. Where am I going to spend it? And they go, and these are all of his players now, basically. The squad is clear. Why would they not be aiming for top four? Because if it was any other manager, you would say top four is a minimum. One game a week, you know, you've spent the most in Europe. Top four should be what you're aiming for, really. You know, so I think, you know, people need to sort of lower what the narratives are and just evaluate what they're seeing in front of them.
Do you then, because obviously I guess there's a difference between having a target as being top four, right? So like the argument I was having with Meads on the main pod was, you know, Chelsea, I think it was around, right, was Chelsea's target to win the league? Yes. Is it a failure if they don't win the league? No, it isn't. But it's a realistic target that they win the league, right? It's not out of the realms of possibilities that they win the league. They just won the Champions League. They spent a shitload of money on Romelu Lukaku, who they thought would be the striker. Again, taking away like what you're saying, Dan, taking away our expectations of what that player is about. Chelsea thought Romelu Lukaku would be the striker that would propel them into winning a title and get them there, right? So what you're saying about the squad is absolutely right, and you know the club should be held to, you know, the targets that they're setting for themselves, really and truly. Not whatever how we feel about it. We shouldn't see. I don't think we should look at it as just because we thought we might finish 8th this season. If we finish 6th, doesn't make that a success. I don't think, but does finishing outside the top four from this point, does that make this season a failure?
To me, it feels like as I said, it definitely is a disappointment given the situation we're in. Failure, I think people view that word too harshly. If you're on course to achieving something and you don't achieve it, I look at it as a failure. That's how I look at it in general. So it's not like I'm gonna say, "Hey guys, this was a good effort." Yeah, it was, but we didn't achieve the target that we were on track for. You know, if you work in a sales role and you're on track of hitting 1 million in sales, and in the end you're hitting 600K, you're not getting the same bonus, and that for you will not just only feel like a disappointment, but also like a failure. So I think that I think in general people view the word failure too negatively. Anyway, it's just a fact that if you have on course or on track, or if something is the target and you haven't achieved it, that is by definition a failure, you know. But I know there's obviously levels, so I wouldn't say it's catastrophic failure. A catastrophic failure would be finishing outside top 6. But I think the club is probably looking at it like this: we are aiming for top 4. Top 6 we will take because it catapults us back into European football, and we are on a positive trend right now. So I think top 4, top 6 for them is a positive. But given the situation we're in, we need to push for that top 4. We've been out of the Champions League for too long. That added revenue, I mean, yeah, I think that is absolutely vital. When you also consider the COVID situation, I can only imagine how much they're licking their lips at the prospect of getting that Champions League money. You know, so I don't know what you guys think, but that's how I generally feel about it.
I think it will also depend on how we finish, how it looks like. Like for me, it will be disappointing if we don't achieve it from here, just basically because of the position we're in. And I will also, you know, I will not be taking excuses because I said in Jan, like, we needed the body. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially up top. Like I said, even if you couldn't get who you wanted, I think it is very hella risky. I think Leo made the point. Like, put it this way, we've trimmed the squad down so much, and that's fine, cool, because this is the core of players you want to rely on. But you are relying on heavy, fine margins. You're relying on the young players to continue the trajectory they've been on. Bearing in mind, we know how inconsistent up and down young players can be, and that's just the nature of the game, right? You're relying on strikers who don't score to try and get us over the line. Lacazette has 2 non-penalty goals all season. So he has 3 league goals, 2 of them are non-penalty goals. Eddie Nketiah hasn't scored a single league goal all season. Gabriel and White, thankfully, touch wood, they've been fit all season. But, if any of them go down for a significant period of time, we could be in a lot of trouble. We've already seen Tomiyasu has missed it. He's now missed, I don't know how many games he's missed now, but
feels like forever.
It feels like forever. And Cedric is in at the moment. Cool. We could probably manage with Cedric again against Brentford and maybe against Wolves after that. But you don't want to do a stretch of games with Cedric at right back. Do you know what I mean? So because essentially, eventually, a team's going to capitalize on his weaknesses. So yeah. And for me, I think one of the biggest points I want to make is that I need Xhaka and Partey to fix up from now to the end of the season. They, along with Lacazette, in my opinion, although I can maybe cut Lacazette a bit more slack, have been the biggest disappointments in the season. Do you know what I mean? So they are the most experienced players in the squad outside of Lacazette. They are who we've pinned our hopes on as our axis to protect the back four and to help us progress up the pitch. And for one reason or another, they've not been available enough. And when they have been available, they haven't performed enough, in my opinion. So I think their stat is they played 8 games this season now. So they've won 6, drawn 1 and lost 1. So that's not a bad ratio.
Not bad. To be
fair.
Yeah.
That isn't bad. That isn't bad.
And I think that run probably stretches back to last season as well when they played together as well. I think they built up quite a good partnership last season as well in terms of.
I need that boy Partey to fix up for him.
Yeah, I think they're okay as a partnership. Obviously, we know we can improve on that in the transfer market. But for me, they're the ones who need to lead the team from now until the end of the season. They need to be turning in minimum 7 out of 10s every week. Those two, especially considering they're senior members, they're on high wages, they're supposed to be the senior statesmen and leaders of the squad. They need to lead adequately. So they need to do it. I don't even know what the point was. I've deviated so far off the point now, but
they need to perform.
Yeah, they need to perform. They need to perform 100 million %.
They do it because it would take a lot of pressure away from, some of the younger players who we're obviously putting a lot of pressure and load on, man. We're I know, I don't know who said it, but, said something about relying on Lacazette. I don't even look at it as relying on Lacazette. We're not relying on Lacazette to score goals. We're relying on Saka, Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe and Odegaard to replicate their goal-scoring feats from the first half of the season. We're not relying on Lacazette to do it. Lacazette has already shown he can't be relied upon. So if we rely on Lacazette, we're going to come up short. So we really need.
He's a disgrace. He needs to give me 5 goals between that. 5, bro. That's all I'm asking for.
Imagine asking your striker, bro. Listen, I just need 5 goals. I need 5 goals in 16 games, bro. 5 goals in 16 games,
bro.
Hey, what are the odds on that? Because boy,
it's looking techie. If he gives me a goal, if he gives me a goal against Spurs or something, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah. I do have a feeling he will just have like a bit of a streak. And when I say streak, I mean like a streak for like 3 or 4 games. I don't mean like a 9-game scoring run. I do feel like Lacazette has these
what we call manifesting. What are you doing over there right now?
I'm trying. I mean, listen, he scored 13 Premier League goals last season, being a bit of a bit part player. So, and
was it 13? I think he only got 10 league goals, but 13.
Sorry, was it 13 all comps? Sorry.
The thing with him, his stats are inflated by pens as well. He's so disgraceful, bro, because you're not even bagging in open play. You're helping.
I feel like one of these is going to go in though, because he's getting chances. That's the thing. So I feel like one of them is going to go in. So Brentford. Let's see what happens. These men, they need to get some revenge for us as well. So. Lacazette's going to bag against Brentford. Fuck it. I'm going for it.
Yeah. I'm on that, man. I'm going to put some money on it.
I might just put a cheeky tenner on that, man. Lacazette anytime, yeah.
Hey,
Fuck
No,
it,
no,
man.
Lacazette got 13 Premier League goals last season.
Oh, 13. Mad.
Yeah, he got. I
Oba
thought he
got
did.
10,
Yeah,
yeah?
he
No,
got. He
Oba
got.
got
Oba got 10. Oba got
He
10.
got 17 all comps last season. Lacazette.
Look how we're trying to gas
Doesn't
that, bro.
feel
This guy's
like
never
it, does
hit.
it?
This guy's never hit
No.
20 in all comps for us once,
Nah.
bro.
Nah.
And he
Fuck
scored.
it, man.
He scored three pens last season. He's got 1 pen this season. He missed a pen, didn't he?
Yeah,
You know,
missed
he
against-
does win an awful lot of pens. So listen, as long as he
To be
keeps
fair,
getting the pens, I don't mind it. If he gets another 4 pens in the second half of the season, because remember he's got us 4 pens this season. I don't know what kind of diving shit he's up to, yeah. But listen, keep doing that, big man. Four more pens, I'll take it. I will take it. 4 more, right?
Hey, you should
And
save
I'll
him for
give
the
you
big
player of the
games.
season. I'll give
Save him for the
listen,
big
you
games.
get us 4 more pens in the rest of the season. You slot all 4 pens, Lacquer. I'll think about giving you a new 1 year. All right.
No.
Yeah, now you're taking it too far, bro. Now you're taking it too far.
Man said fair play contracts, you know. That's crazy.
Anyway, let's move on then, because there was some. I actually haven't seen it, so I'm gonna rely upon you guys to talk me through it. Josh Kroenke did an interview after. Was it after the LA Rams Super Bowl victory? Was it after or before?
It was before.
It was before.
It was before, right? And you know, for those who don't know anything about NFL and American football, of which I am one of those people, apparently Stan Kroenke's American rugby team, won their World Cup or something over there, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, they won it.
And it's in their shiny new stadium as well.
And their shiny new stadium, paid for by us. Yeah, by us. Leveraged by us. Season ticket holders. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the inner workings of that kind of field. But from what I hear, it's quite an interesting project that they have going on with the Rams. And, you know, they've kind of got like a similar philosophy going with the Rams as they do with Arsenal. Like, they've got a really young coach who is apparently quite talented and highly thought of in the coaching world over there. Listen, just going off by what Twitter says, right? I don't know anything about these things. So yeah, talk me through what Josh Kroenke was saying, and did he make any like direct comparisons between the Rams' success and what they're trying to do at Arsenal?
Go on, Dan. What do you got?
Yeah, I was going to say he did actually, like, he spoke about trying to Americanize the sort of the behind the scenes structure, and he drew parallels to sort of there being the general manager and then the head coach, and that's the direction that they're trying to look at, which I thought was quite interesting, because I think we sort of went away from that briefly when Wenger stepped down, because there was a Gazidis and the Wenger structure, and then we sort of went to that sort of weird trifecta of Raul, Mislintat, and then was it Edu or was it someone else? I can't remember.
Raul,
and
Kia.
And Kia, wow.
Yeah, Kia. And then Kia with his office at London Colney, apparently, yeah. So and then they were all sort of feeding into Unai Emery, and Emery basically didn't have that much of a say. So then I think they sort of mirrored it again, almost back to the Wenger days, where they've got the manager now working with Edu, and then obviously Vinay, who's the CEO. And I basically that interview, it was quite interesting to me, because I think the main thing about the Kroenke tenure obviously is the whole silent stand stuff that was been going on. Like, you couldn't get a word out of him. You had no idea what they wanted to do with the club. You had no idea what the direction of travel was. And I think now there is some additional clarity. And I've said previously that I don't necessarily care about what they have to say, as long as the vision for the club, you can sort of read it in actions. And I think what I quite like now is that what they're saying, it seems to match up with what they're doing in terms of, their transfer business, what we're seeing on the pitch and that kind of thing, investing in a young squad, investing in the young manager and sort of trying to grow things organically and in a sort of, what's that word, collaborative way on the pitch, right? With the ages of the players and whatnot. So, I think for me, it's very good that they seem to be much more engaged with what's happening on the pitch. So I think even right up until the end of Emery, it was a big thing for me that, this Emery guy was struggling and he was struggling for a long, long time. And engaged ownership probably would have let him go after the Europa League final, and we could have started again. But instead, there was talk of him potentially getting a new contract after that. Then you go out and you spend 72 million pounds. That leads to an internal investigation because certain people were getting paid that shouldn't have been, etc., etc. So and that leads to multiple people getting sacked as a result. So it says to me that even right up until that period, these men, they were sort of not engaged. They were letting people have a jolly up with running the club, and I don't think that sort of thing will happen again. Basically,
what changed? What was the
Tim Lewis, I think.
Yeah,
what was the moment that they realized, wow, shit, really getting
COVID.
Mm.
COVID. I mean, they already sanctioned a lot of the deals before. This is what people were talking about. Arsenal don't spend money. Arsenal don't have money. All this kind of stuff. Look at what we spent in the last 5-6 years. We've spent enormous amounts of money, and we actually haven't sold many players for good value. We're just spending because we are one of those clubs that has a lot of revenue. So essentially, the way the Kroenkes have led it is like, okay, you have the money, then spend it. You can do what we trust the football people to do the job. And I think this is where their failure was. They hired a lot of people. There was no, I don't think overarching strategy, or at least a long-term strategy. It was just haphazard. And I think Raul thrived in that environment because he could get deals done and do whatever he wanted. And then it led to failure. And then when COVID hit, they started investigating. They started looking through the books, and they were like, "What the hell are these men doing?" And then they completely streamlined. People that a lot of people got let go as well. They streamlined the departments. They streamlined the leadership group and how they operate and how they report. And Josh Kroenke became an active part of that. They say he was on the board before, but he has an active role now, and he has also a bit like they're using PR quite a bit to kind of communicate what the ideas for the club are, how we're moving forward. So they've completely revamped that sort of strategy. And essentially that's when they had to really look into the books. I think COVID was a big sort of eye opener for them. And I think now also with the 100% leadership now, owning the club fully, they are more invested into making this right. Rather than before where they were like, you know what, we're not putting extra money into this club when we want to buy all the shares, and if we put more money in, we're just increasing the value of the club, which making it more difficult for us to buy the shares of this guy. So they had to freeze Usmanov out. That was their planning, and now I think they're just more involved now. This is Josh Kroenke's project essentially. I don't think Stan is much involved, but his son is, and he's leading it. I think the interview. I think he's a clear communicator. He's a good communicator. He says a lot of good things. I think he's been briefed very well. And he's definitely has a good sort of narrative of how he explains his interest for Arsenal, saying that he's always been a football fan, etc., etc. So he wants to build that relationship and make it seem like the synergy between him, fan base, and the club is a natural one for him. And yeah, I think it was good. However, I've seen also the Sky interview before, so I feel like a lot of the things that he said in that interview that we just watched a couple of days ago, he's already said before. It's not something so super new that I've seen, but he's just reiterated things. And obviously, fans like the soundbites when he says things like the European fans are more passionate than whatever we've seen here. So
no, it's not. I saw that
Yeah,
clip
no, it's not. Yes,
when,
a guy that was looking like Ice JJ Fish said that in the background. But yeah, I
he
think
got very
fans were
upset
loving the
about it.
soundbites. Yeah, this guy was annoying me, but fans really enjoyed it. I think it was a good interview, but at the end, we need to. I think we will spend money. I'm confident we will continue spending money, but I just need to see active engagement from them. As you said, Dan, when Emery was flopping, it took too long. Maybe they just had too much faith in that guy, or they just weren't involved enough. Enough. We don't know, but we need to.
Who's
But we need.
who's Richard Jefferson? Who's this?
The guy on the video that
Yeah.
was talking nonsense.
Oh, okay.
This is-
So what were some of these interesting things that Josh said? Like, did he say anything that really caught your attention and you
As
thought
I said,
was it pretty
he said a
generic
lot.
stuff?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff he already said before in sort of a Sky special interview, which was a few months ago. I think some of the sound bites that the fans have liked are obviously what he said about European fans compared to US fans. And he kind of explained how they had to like change the leadership model in order to be more aligned with what KSE do in general. So he kind of explained that, but he didn't give like super insightful information. But it was good hearing him speak about the club and basically confirming that he's more active and actively involved in this basically his project.
Does the fact that they are kind of like standing up and talking, does that make you guys feel a little bit more comfortable with their leadership, or
I've never cared that much like about talking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care. Like my thing is just good governance. So as the guys have said, if things are going bad, address it, make amends. Like don't let shit fester. And anyone can fail, but at least if you're going to fail quickly and try and address it. So what I will say is that since Tim Lewis has come in, they seem to be a lot more methodical, a lot more strict and stringent in how they're going about things. They proper evaluate every deal before they carry it out. But as the guys have said, they're willing to spend money. Like we're going to have another aggressive summer. I think pretty much after this summer, that is fully Arteta squad. After that, that's it. Like anyone who's from previous to Wenger or an Emery regime that he doesn't want will be gone. And, he would have had 150, 200 mil to spend again in the summer, and that would be it. Do you know what I mean? So we would have had 4, 5, 6 transfer windows to, completely, remodify his squad. So we'll see, man. But I've never been as harsh on the Kroenkes as others. Like I think, the bit about the investment, like I said, since Wenger's left, the investment has been heavy, continuous. So, and I expect it to be continuous. So, and you could argue we've dropped so far down the league that we naturally need investment anyway. And I think this is the sort of league now where everyone has money. So realistically, we have to keep spending anyway, because weaker teams around us are spending, like 50 odd million. I saw West Ham bid 50 million for not Darwin Núñez in January. Do you know what I mean? So people are just bidding mad money, like left, right, and centre. So we have to, not by virtue of just trying to keep up, but trying to get better as well. So, so we'll see, man. I've liked what Kroenke said. He definitely seems actively engaged. He seems like he wants the team to do well. I think, just by virtue of someone who's younger, probably aligns himself more with, Arteta, Edu, and Vinay, probably fits in with that structure a bit more. So it looks okay. But the proof will be in the pudding. So, hopefully we can get top 4, and then we can be very, very aggressive in trying to build a very good Champions League squad, because watching what I've seen over the last 2 nights, our squad right now, it needs so much work to even, try and compete with any of those guys. So, yeah.
Sure. Well, just to round things up then, let's talk a little bit about Brentford. That game is on Saturday? 3 p.m, right?
Saturday, 3 p.m.
Saturday, 3 p.m. Brentford at home. Proper revenge game for us, boy, because I still remember that opening game of the season like it was just yesterday. It was, oof. That
Why
was
are we
a tough watch.
beefing all these mid-table teams, though? What's going on here?
Family, it makes me sick, It makes me sick. Everyone's always talking smoky about us, man. Like, if it's not Wolves fans, it's Villa fans. If it's not Villa fans,
apparently you're not allowed to celebrate wins these days, guys. Like, who would have thought?
There's a right way of celebrating, sir. Shut
Jesus
up, man.
Christ.
Can I just say quickly on that? What really jars me as well is, like, firstly, sport is emotion based. Do you know what I mean? Like in any sport, like any win, even if it's not a mate, you're going to give like a little fist bump. I don't understand why people were so keen to police emotion and celebration, bro. If we can't enjoy it, what's the point of us all being here? Like generally, like what's the point of us all being here if we can't enjoy it? So tell them to shut up, man. Listen, I hope we beat Wolves again, like in 2 weeks, and we do like a little parade around the stadium.
I told you, Martinelli is doing this to the Wolves fans. Yeah, book it. Yeah, book it. Yeah.
I don't even think the celebrations were that mad, were they?
It wasn't mad at all. Like the thing is, because you see people like Ramsdale's a passion merchant anyway. Like he does the same thing every single game in it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't.
Yeah, there's nothing special to
like,
Wolves.
Rather than the triple fist pump in the air.
But also you need to bear in mind it's the manner of which we won the game. Like one, Wolves don't concede a lot. Two, we managed to get ahead and then we went down to 10 men. So we defended the last 25 minutes, with 10 men. Like so against a decent side because we saw 3 days later Wolves went to Tottenham and won 2-0. So it was a good hard fought result, man. Because Wolves have taken points off Chelsea, they've taken points off City, I think as well this season as well. So they're a decent team, man. And I think we had that down as one of the games we might drop points in, didn't we?
Yeah,
and we managed to get 3 points. So
sure.
And made a good point, like people quick to police what Arsenal do. When City beat us 2-1 at the start of January, they won against us late when we had 10 men, and they were ripping their shirts off, jumping into the crowd.
They went into the crowd, yeah.
Mate, I mean, like,
and that's Man City who have won literally everything except for Champions League.
They've won like 13 games in a row before that or something stupid. So
yeah,
yeah,
you can't. Come on, man, you can't police how people celebrate winning football games, especially if it's fucking. Just general celebrations. Like it's ridiculous. You need to stop bitching. And Ruben, that's put me right off you, mate. Because I was all up for signing you before you started bitching. Not feeling it. But anyway, we've got Brentford. Who, listen, I mean, you look at their form heading into this game. They haven't won since they beat Aston Villa at the beginning of Jan. Well, they beat Port Vale in the FA Cup, but they've been getting smacked recently, man. I know they drew to Palace on the weekend, but they've lost to City, they lost to Wolves, they lost to Man United, they lost to Liverpool, they lost to Southampton. A few hammerings in there as well. So Brentford are a team in decline, but that didn't really fare us that well against Burnley. So it's going to be a tough game, man, and especially after they dunked on us in their Premier League debut at Griffin Park. This is going to be a tough game, man, and I think we're going to need to really be on form to get the job done.
I need Ben White to get it back in blood, because
because
the way they cooked
Tony
him
in a spliff, man.
The way they cooked him on Sky Sports as well wasn't nice. It wasn't.
Yeah. I need him to win every aerial duel, bro.
Even if you don't win him, just give him cheeky elbows and that in the back. Let him know that you're there and that. But it's annoying these games that we're having to play in a row because Burnley, Wolves, Brentford, and then Wolves again. Like all 4 of these games it's like the deepest of deep blocks in it, really. So and a lot of long balls, a lot of switches of play. So obviously we should be prepared. I guess because they're not that dissimilar to Wolves with their 5-3, 5-3-2 and 3-4, 3-4-3 type stuff. But I think Brentford, other than Mbuemo, I don't really rate their attack too heavily. So I do feel like this is going to be a game where we will have some chances. We'll have quite a few shots, and if we're able to take our chances, we win. Because looking at them, I think other than the games where they're able to sort of really pam the centre backs, some of the big games, I'm not really too impressed with Brentford going forward, man.
Ivan Toney's a doubt, actually. I've just seen.
Oh, really?
Calf injury, might not play.
Yeah, so I think he's basically their whole attack plan as well. To be honest, they try to hit him. And ask him to do something, and more often than not, he's not really able to. So, I do feel like this should be a game that we're putting in the diaries as and marking it as 3 points personally. So I'd be very disappointed if we don't win.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys see Brentford causing us any issues? I mean, I don't think. I just a little bit worried about the whole deep block thing, and I think the Burnley game sits in my mind, but I think it scares me because it's an indication of what can happen if you aren't fully there at the races. And I know we had a few players missing. I think Partey was missing, Tomiyasu missing, but you should still beat Burnley with the team that we had out there.
I think that Burnley game, it came, we looked tired, didn't it? That Burnley game came at a time where we needed that break. Like, we looked tired, and the composition of the midfield in that game wasn't great. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not really an excuse because, like you said, we should have still beat Burnley.
Who played midfield that game? It was Lacazette.
It was Lacazette, ESR, and Odegaard that started.
Yeah, so Xhaka and Partey both didn't.
So Xhaka and Partey both missed. So I think that will be, hopefully, touch wood, because they've been on banter this season, a big plus if they're on it. I obviously I don't make too much of a habit of watching Brentford. I can't lie to you. They bore me. So if I'd imagine they'd be a threat from set pieces, because one of the things about Burnley didn't cause us any threat in open play. Generally, they did.
We haven't conceded from set pieces this season, though.
No.
So if we're strong from that, it's more about how we can prize open a deep block. Me personally, just because of my doubts offensively, I don't think it's going to be another high scoring game. I can't lie to you. I could see like a 1 or a 2-0, but I don't think the floodgates are going to open massively for us in this game. So hopefully we can just create enough openings, stretch them, pull them apart enough that we can create 4 or 5 good chances and convert 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the team that played Brentford on the opening day now. I think only 4 players who played in that game will actually start for us on Saturday. I mean,
we had Chambers, Mari,
Leno, Chambers, Mari. 2 of these aren't even at the club anymore. White played, Tierney played, Xhaka played in midfield with Lokonga.
Balogun started that game.
Balogun started, Pepe started, Martinelli started. But obviously Martinelli's not going to be available.
Just from the Olympics, he came. Right?
Yeah.
It's very
be a very different team. And on the bench that day, we had like Nelson coming off the bench, and
Nelson's not here anymore either. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We had like
the framework coach is saying he's not sure about him. Boy, we were in the mud.
Man, listen, we were severely in the mud them times, boy.
That game was so peak. First day,
Sam, I was rattled.
But
Carragher pamming us. It was crazy.
But if you think as well, and look how teams got, we tried to get that game called off, and how teams were getting stuff called off at we weren't ready to play that game, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we had like Aubameyang and Lacazette both out with COVID, right?
They were both out with COVID.
Well, I think someone else
there was
as well.
a couple others.
Was it Gabriel out with COVID?
Gabriel had an injury.
And
Nketiah had an injury as well. So
Partey was injured so we were
severely depleted.
Yeah. But the thing is, they didn't want to know. They didn't want to care about that. So it is what it is, isn't it? So
But we got it back in blood a few days ago. A few days after that, apparently, in a pre-season friendly, I think we spanked them 4-0. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come for this game, anyway. But before we wrap things up, any last things you guys want to touch on before we go, or
just need to get right now? Just 16 cup finals left. I just need the 3 points, bro. Honestly, I'm shook, man. Like you guys are very confident. I'm so shook, bro. Every game, I'm just here. I'm just panicking, bro, because I need top 4, bro. I'm stressing, bro.
Hey.
I ain't seen these bright lights since 2017, bro. 2016, bro. I'm just here, man.
Before we do go, let me just ask you a quick question then. So how do you think getting Champions League football and not getting Champions League football, say just qualifying for the Europa League, how do you guys think that impacts our transfer business?
I think irrespective, they're going to spend money. because they have to, because of how they've depleted the squad anyway. Lacazette and Eddie are going to leave, so they're going to spend regardless, in my opinion. However, what will impact is the quality of player we might be able to attain if we get Champions League. I think that's why it's such a big thing. Do you know what I mean? So if we get Champions League, different options become available. Like, obviously I'm just using it as an example, but like, for example, a Frankie de Jong might become available that you could pursue, if you got Champions League, whereas, before, it'd be like a Tielemans, innit? So, but I don't know, man. But yeah, what I'm saying
Hey,
is,
Tielemans put on a Blasic the other night, boy.
relax.
Listen,
boy.
boy.
Relax.
He did, to be
Relax.
fair. You
Yeah.
might know I'm not a fan of that guy, but he was passing man.
He
off
was
the park.
hooping.
So I think it's just quality of player basically that we can possibly acquire. So we need it, man. We need it, bruv. I need to be able to brag again, bro. Brother, listen. No, bruv. I've been playing with Arsenal. Do you know how dry Arsenal are on FIFA, bruv? Oh my god, bruv. Man, are using
75
like
rated team, bro.
75 Tomiyasu, right? I said, Jesus is Lord, bro. Brother, we stink, bro. Even now, bro, when I'm playing with Arsenal, bro, I have to put Eddie and Ketia in the squad, bro. We ain't got no more.
God. You might need to go. You might need to
Is
go on
Eddie
Ozil
even
team
70?
instead.
Huh? Eddie's like 72, bro.
Oh, is it? Right.
That's
Right,
techie,
bro.
But
Young
Right.
Goose.
you don't think that there's a chance that we can get some of this like top European talent with Champions League? So like you see how someone like Chouameni or Karim Adeyemi and all that, like they're talking about moving in summer and stuff like that. Do you think like with Champions League that we can enter some of these conversations?
No, I don't think so, because I think with someone like Chouameni, isn't he linked to like everyone? Like Chelsea is being touted, right? And is it Chelsea or and PSG? Is it?
Or like a Bellingham or something like that? Like
I think Bellingham is probably too expensive, but I think this is why I think it will massively impact the business that we can conduct. Because I truly think that we could get some elite talent if we get back into the Champions League, because we have the willingness to spend. What used to stop us from getting these talents at times was we didn't want to spend, we didn't want to pay the money, we didn't want to pay the wages. Now we want to do it, but they just don't want to come because we're not in the Champions League. We're not even
Also,
in Europe.
Edu is a massive bozo. He doesn't look like he could get a big transfer done, even if his life depended on it. So
unless there's a release clause.
unless there's a release clause, or like nobody else wants him. Like nobody else wants this player.
I think that's
the
where
only
we
transfer
might come
Edu's getting
unstuck
done.
there, but I do think we could if we get Champions League, we could definitely attract some top talent. Definitely, I wouldn't think we are not able to do that. And who that is, we'll see. I think Adeyemi looks like he's going Dortmund. Chouameni, I don't think I've seen him strongly linked with someone.
He's Real Madrid and
Real Madrid bound.
Chelsea. Real Madrid and Chelsea, I've seen.
Real Madrid just want everyone, man.
So, but yeah, no, I think I agree with the overall point. The quality of player,
there's players out there, man.
There's players out there. The thing is, obviously, we don't really. I mean, we know the positions we want, but obviously, we don't know what players fit in that position. I think, like Neves and Tielemans are probably guys we could get if we get top six. But I'm saying if we get Champions League, the quality opens up a bit more. So there might be other options. Obviously, striker's different because the pool of striker talent isn't massive. So. But yeah, definitely when we're looking at centre mids, man, there's guys out there that we could acquire. So
even strikers, man. Like, I mean, real one is really hoping for this one, but we could enter the market for some of these big boys, like the João Felixes and that of the world. I wouldn't put putting past us to try to pursue like a very ambitious one, and the way the transfer market moves, yeah. See the way you don't know, you think someone is not available, and all of a sudden he is. That's how it moves. And when you're in the Champions League and you have the money, all of a sudden you're in a much better position. I think top six, as you said, we will probably focus on prem level talent again, like we did last summer, and recruit and within the age ranges that we've been recruiting, and try to do smart business. If we get Champions League, I think they will look to blow the bag on at least one big player.
No to Declan Rice, by the way.
Yeah, no, not for me.
Tielemans was giving man the run around the other day, boy, if that's what we're talking about. So yeah, but we'll see.
Yep, definitely. All right, lads, let's call it a night. We're going to be back again next week. We'll do a Patreon after the Brentford game. Hopefully we can have something else to celebrate, another victory, which would be nice. Who have our ops got this weekend? Anyone?
City Spurs
City
straight
Spurs.
after our game
City
as well.
Spurs.
Look at Goose, man.
I'm trying to eat, boy. I'm trying to eat. Yeah.
But do you know what scares me though? Spurs are sort of the team that have a decent record against City.
They
man.
do
So
have a decent.
They
record
do have a
against
decent
City.
record against
Not
City.
at the
so-
Etihad though.
see
Not
it,
at the
man.
Etihad though.
Yeah, I need City to.
I can't see it. West Ham have got Newcastle. So that's going to be a tough game because Newcastle won like 3 in a row, and West Ham
Joe
don't
Willock,
look.
I need you. Joe Willock, Blasic, bro. I need that, bro.
Yeah. Chelsea have got Palace. I'm sure they'll win that. Who have United got? Leeds away. No, that's going to be like a 6-0 win, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always is.
Leeds are the most ridiculous team, bro. Because
McTom always has the best game of his life against.
Yeah,
Leeds, man.
scores two out of the box moldies against Leeds every time. And Wolves have got Leicester. So I mean, I don't know if we're considering Wolves as a genuine threat. I'm certainly not. But yeah. Anyway, guys,
I think Wolves, if they win and Spurs lose, they can go above Spurs. You know, actually, so that's techie.
It's techie for them.
That's techie.
Well, anyway, all right, lads, take it easy. Have a good one.
You man, take it easy.
Peace
lads.
out, man.
Thanks.